What's going on, MSFers? Duelim here, back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 characters you should build right now for Cosmic Crucible specifically, but I will also talk about some of their uses outside of this. Some of these characters are going to be just tied to the team in general, and it's going to be more of just a team-wide PSA, but some of them are just plug-and-play characters that are going to be awesome. And kicking off the list in no particular order is going to be Sasquatch. And a lot of you guys are probably looking at this going, what in the holy hell is Sasquatch doing here? He's literally just a tank that stands there, does nothing. His kit's kind of crappy. He doesn't do anything outside of raids or war. And you would be very correct. But the one thing that he does very, very well is his passive on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns and 2 death proof to self. And then on any turn, if this character's health is greater than or equal to 75%, and this character does not have taunt, gain taunt. So not only is he a pre-taunting tank, he is a re-taunting tank as well. So teams like New Warriors can't get through the taunt because they will take the taunt off, but then he will reapply it right away, which is pretty awesome as long as he's above 75% health, which is why you want him rather large. I have debated putting G19 on him for quite some time, but I am a little bit low on bio gear, so I want to make sure I have enough before I end up doing that. You can also make him a fortifier to make him even stronger, to make sure he is staying above that 75% health threshold to keep taunting over and over again. But he is absolutely great, and he is my go-to plug-and-play pre-taunt on defense when I'm pairing him with things such as Hive Mind, Old Man Logan, anything like that. This guy is absolutely ridiculous. Next up, we've got Void Knight, and this is an extension of his team, but Void Knight is a very, very, very good plug-and-play character solely because of his ult, Dark Horizon. So he is going to clump kind of like a Magneto ult. So he's moving everybody to spaces within each other. He's doing a flip. He's getting a massive amount of focus boost on this move as well. It's unavoidable and cannot be counterattacked. He's also applying ability block for 2 turns to the primary target. So absolutely ridiculous move turn 1, and because of his passive, because he gets 25% speed bar on spawn, he actually goes at a rate of about 150 speed, so he is extremely quick. Now this is an extension to his team Hive Mind that is really great. This is really only going to extend to Carnage and Red Goblin. So Red Goblin is a massive damage dealer on the team, and Carnage is going to give that passive turn bar speed meter when anybody goes below 30% health on Hive Mind. So pairing those 3 Hive Mind characters with characters like Super Skrull, characters like Spider-Man Pav, who goes super quick, or Noir, who goes super quick, getting a big amount of damage out there very quickly, are awesome. You can also pair them with Black Knight because those Black Knight pings do massive damage and can potentially knock somebody below 30% health if they are not big enough to take it, getting that Hive Mind speed train rolling, and then from there, your opponent just suffers. Void Knight is also amazing on offense as well, flipping a lot of positive effects, getting that clump, getting that early ability block, so a lot of plug-and-play use for Void Knight, as well as putting him on defense. I do have him in my week 1 defense for Cosmic Crucible Season 11 as well. So really great character all around. Also very good in war as well as a plug-and-play character to get that early super quick flip. Next up, we've got Deathpool, and I know what you're thinking. Deathpool. New Warriors are out the door. They're a terrible team, but because of room rules in room number 4, being blind, being put out when enemies ult you, means that New Warriors are going to come back into the meta because New Warriors don't get affected by blind. Well, they do, but they have 200% accuracy, and what blind does is it lowers accuracy by 100%. So New Warriors, even if they are blinded in that room, they will still do great things. I also see them doing really well in room number 5 against some sort of extreme hybrid with MOE as well, maybe with Ares to take off that safeguard on spawn, and then New Warriors go to town on that team. It could be really good. Now, she's also part of the Mercs for Money team. So obviously Deathpool is going to be one you want to take super, super high because the Mercs for Money team is absolutely ridiculous in war. With Old Man Logan, who is also an honorary mention on this list, but you'll see someone else that is part of that team that I think should be built even more importantly than Old Man Logan. That's not true. Probably just second fiddle to Old Man Logan, but has some great plug and play ability. But Deathpool still has some great merit and is still a really, really great character. Next up, I alluded to it, it's Dawan. And Dawan is without a doubt the second best member on Mercs, and it's actually pretty close. And the reason why is because his passive is ridiculously good. So what ends up happening here is when any enemy character gains stealth, fill this character's speed bar by 60%, which means if you're going into a room where they are going to go into stealth, like Spider Society, who gets stealth when they drop below 50% health from Spider Gwen's passive, he gets 60% speed. And if he's taking a bunch of turns, he's getting massive, massive bleeds out there. Then he gets to ult and do some rewinds as well. This character is really good, and I have had absolutely no regrets taking him up to G19, 3 diamond as well. He is absolutely ridiculous. He's also really good if you put him with Mercs and then you go against a Super Scroll as well, because then he's giving Super Scroll is giving him a bunch of speed from specialing turn 1 and then going into stealth. So Dawan has had some really, really good plug and play ability, especially in room 4 of season 10, where enemies were dodging and getting stealth, and then he would get literally 300 speed. So he'd take 3 turns in a row, which was absolutely ridiculous. Do not wait on Dawan. Build him now. He's also ridiculous in war, being on that Mercs team. He is really, really, really good. Next up, we've got Spider Slayer, and by extension, the Superior 6 team. So this is more going to apply to the entire Superior 6 team. So what we could do here is click here and click here. As you can see, my Superior 6 team is absolutely maxed out of its mind, other than Doc Ock for G19 and 3 diamond. I have not regretted this whatsoever. I also took these 3 Sinister 6 members to Dark Dimension 8. You see the purple ISO on them. I am planning on putting purple ISO on Green Goblin Classic as well, because this team is absolutely ridiculously good when it comes to Cosmic Crucible and even War. They are very, very good on War with the plug and play of Vulture and Mysterio for their kits, stealing that speed up because Vulture does that and then applying it to your team, or making sure enemies cannot get immunity. So if you're going against an Apocalypse on defense, using a Mysterio here is absolutely nuts. This team is just so good, and they are incredibly good on offense. They can rip through almost any team you can imagine. They're even really good against Annihilators, even with their new stats. You just use Mysterio to make sure they don't have immunity, and you will rip them. So absolutely ridiculously good characters there. Now, let's get back into the list here, and we've got Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, and by extension, his team Secret Defenders. Now, Secret Defenders have become an absolute staple. They started off as an arena team and quickly made it over to the Cosmic Crucible scene. They're also really, really good in war as well, on offense or on defense. They have a lot of plug and play ability, especially Robbie with his bleed mechanic. There's a offensive team with New Avengers and Robbie going around that does really, really great things against even like a Super Scroll team. Does some really awesome things. By extension, his team is also extremely, extremely good. So Black Cat's on this team, obviously really good. It's mainly just the 3-piece though. It's Black Cat, Hardlight, and Robbie. Photon most of the time gets dropped and put on the bench. Doctor Strange is terrible. He did get announced for a rework though, so let's hope Doctor Strange does not get another Doctor Strange treatment and get a terrible rework. But this team has become a staple on Crucible offense as of late, taking out those Spider Society Mephistos, as well as just base Spider Societies, taking out those with ease, with Eternals coming in as well with them. So I do think Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes is an absolutely ridiculously good character and will be plug and play for a very long time, even after Secret Defenders is no longer a good team to have. I do think Robbie Reyes will end up having some use with like Mercs for Money and Robbie instead of Deathpool because of all those bleeds that Mercs put out. So Robbie, obviously with his passive, gets 10% speed per bleed applied to an enemy. So that is literally right up Mercs for Money's wheelhouse with how much bleed they put out. So they are ridiculously good. So I have a feeling Robbie Reyes is going to stay in the meta for a very, very, very long time. Next up, we do have, obviously, I can't talk about a great character list without Odin. Odin is absolutely ridiculous. I know not a lot of you guys have him right now, but do not sleep on this guy. He's one-shotting Mephistos in War. He's one-shotting Mephistos in Cosmic Crucible. He's making defenses absolutely disgusting when you're putting Odin with Illuminati on defense. That also sucks to face. If you haven't seen that Cosmic Crucible video of where I couldn't clear an Odin Illuminati, please go watch that one. That was terrible. But Odin is absolutely incredible. Obviously going to be good for an extremely long time. He's a mythic character, so you know he's going to be good. And even at 5'5", he's got 9 million health. I think he has like 13 million health when he's at 7'7". His damage is disgusting. He's an absolutely incredible character. He clears exhausted from allies as well with his special. So first character to ever do that. Definitely keep working towards getting Odin if you don't have him already. But if you do, make sure you're using him in the right places, whether you want to be a terrible person who eats corn the long way and puts him on defense with Illuminati, or if you want to use him on offense to one-shot some really good teams such as Mephisto Annihilators, Mephisto Spider Society, all that good stuff. He can also be used there. And then next up is Mephisto himself. Obviously, he is an absolutely nuts character, and I've noticed a lot of people are getting him unlocked lately. I think there's almost 10,000 Mephistos now, which is absolutely insane. So Mephisto is mainly going to be used on defense in Cosmic Crucible and defense in War. I have seen some people using him for offense on Cosmic Crucible, which is very fascinating. And then they just play the, I'm going to confuse my opponent with my defense and make sure he drops only one attack, and he's going to do everything in his power to one-shot his defense. And essentially just play that game. So that's an option as well. But Mephisto is ridiculously good with his packed and empowered mechanic. Obviously, I don't have to talk much about him. Next up is Blade, and by extension, the Night Stalker team. So we do have a raid room in room number 3 for Cosmic Crucible Season 11 coming out. And Blade and the Night Stalkers are going to be absolutely nuts there. Remember, once Man-Thing comes out, he's going to give an extra 20% speed to the team, and that is base speed, so that team will be zooming. And I have a feeling people are going to put Night Stalkers with Odin, but that's just me, because people suck. So it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up working against that team or what ends up not working. But this team is absolutely nuts. They also were announced to get some war buffs for the upcoming war season, so they will be very good in war as well. They're getting extra damage, extra stats, extra barrier. So they're going to be a very, very good team for war as well. So money well spent, gold and resources well invested into this team. If you are still holding cores, I honestly, coring Man-Thing would not be a terrible idea at all, because they are absolutely nuts, and that makes the team go super, super fast. Next up and last on our list is Omega Sentinel, and by extension, the Orcus team. So I will go over to the Orcus team. And we have noticed Orcus is absolutely destroying Cosmic Crucible. This team is deleting meta teams, even such as like Cabal, such as New Warriors. MOE does okay against it, but if they run out of steam and they can't end up killing them, guess what? Lady Deathstrike just deletes them all. So this team is ridiculously, ridiculously good. Obviously, they're great in the tech raids as well. They've been really good in war as well, which I think is solely because of their stats and not a lot of characters having new stats yet because the jump just happened. But I do believe Orcus will be absolutely great in Room 2 of Cosmic Crucible, as well as Room 3, as well as potentially Room 6. They are going to have a lot of plug-and-play ability in a lot of different rooms, so it's going to be interesting to see where the community decides to put them. But that's going to be it for this one. That's going to be my top 10 characters / teams that you should build for primarily Cosmic Crucible. but also where they have uses outside of Cosmic Crucible when it comes to raids and war. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope it gives you guys a little bit more direction on where to build your roster if you really like Cosmic Crucible. And if you're at this channel, it's because you like Cosmic Crucible. So I hope you guys enjoyed, but until next time, this has been Dolan. Later, MSFers.